We'll start with the opening statement from the head coach.
Happy to get a win in that first game. The first half was a bit of a struggle offensively for both teams. We were standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon, which isn't very far from here. I'm not sure if we could have hit the Grand Canyon, either team. But what we kind of told our players is, you're playing really good defense, and I thought we were playing very good defensively. We've had a lot of games where we've gone through some rough patches with our offense, but it's our defense, our team defense, getting hands on balls, forcing tough shots, and be able to create some things in transition for ourselves. So, we talked about just being real consistent to do that, and then coming out in the second half, finding a way to win. We're in a tournament, WCC tournament, for a lot of our players. We've got a lot of young players and a lot of new players. It's their first time. Some of them at all in a postseason tournament, and first time in a WCC tournament for all of us. So, we're excited to be in Las Vegas, and we've got that first game under our belt. And I thought, they came out and they found ways to get things done and win the game. So I'm very proud of them.
For those on Zoom, if you'd like to use the raise hand function, I can give you access to unmute and ask a question. But we'll start with a question for the student athletes.
Yeah, Jeff Ferrato with the West Coast Conference. Mata, can you talk about your defensive effort as a team? You guys had 12 steals. You turned that into 24-1 points off turnovers, which is kind of a crazy number. Just talk about what you guys were able to do defensively to sort of get the game going.
I think that when we struggle offensively, we emphasize getting good stops and good defensive possessions so we can get transition buckets or even out of turnovers. I just realized that we were 24-1, and I think that's amazing. Every time we put pressure on the ball, or even I can get myself going with the steals and you can find Kenny in transition and stuff like that, I think it's really good for our offense, even for our pace, and give us confidence to then make the shots that we were missing at the beginning of the game.
Candy, you guys won a game where you shot, I think it was 2 for 21 in the first quarter as a team, and I think you might have missed your first 5 or 6 shots, but you got going. A lot of stuff in the post where it looked like you were sort of able to impose your will on the other team. Talk about that a little bit and what your strategy was to kind of get it going offensively in the second half.
I mean, it's basketball. Like, we're gonna miss shot. The most important thing is to get your mindset right and think about the next play. I think we did that really well. The third or fourth quarter, we had a really offensive mindset, and we made big shot, every single one of us. And credit to our teams because we kept going.
I think as Coach referenced, you guys are both playing in this tournament for the first time. You play Pepperdine tomorrow. You've beaten them already this year, which may or may not have anything to do with tomorrow. But just talk about what you guys hope to be able to achieve here.
I mean, we're obviously going to go with the mindset of getting another win so we can play another basketball game after that. We beat them, but at the end of the day, that was February. I think March is a new season, so it doesn't really matter what happened in the past. We played great defense, so we can build from that, from the last game, season film. But at the end of the day, we got to show up tomorrow and still do the little things. And even if you're not hitting shots, you're still be consistent in our defense. And, yeah, our offense will come and the win also will come.
Yeah, piggyback to what she said, get our mindset right and just continue for when we stop with them. I think at home really played a really good game. As she said, in defense. We all know that it all starts in defense and the offense comes. So hopefully tomorrow we come as we did at home.
Last question, Mata. Can you talk about your team's confidence in Candy when she has the ball, especially around the basket?
I mean, everybody trusts everybody in this team. It doesn't matter who has the ball. Obviously, somebody has strengths in different positions, but I know every time I'm going to see Candy posting up, I'm going to throw it to her every time, because even if she misses it, she's going to get the over or she's going to get fouled. So regardless, something good is going to happen. I know she struggled at the beginning of the game today, but I had confidence that it was going to come to her. And, I mean, she's a hard worker. Regardless, she's going to keep going until the end of the game, so shout out to her. And, I mean, I trust every single team that we have, and that we are going to have and make great shots. So, yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Student athletes, for you to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, you guys.
Molly, have you ever had a game where you outscored the opponent 24-1 after hours?
I don't know. Probably not. That is a, when we've been so inconsistent offensively that we talk a lot about having to play really good defense and try to create some offense with our defense, with our, either forcing tough shots or getting some steals. So I think, it was a credit to them that they were able to dig in and be able to do that. I think, too, some fatigue probably on San Diego's part contributed to that, having to play a second game. And, they put quite a load on Kylie Ray. I think she probably a little tired today, and we wanted to take advantage of that. We wanted to get the ball out of her hands and make it real tough for her to get shots.
Was this a better than average defensive performance by you guys, though? You held them to 32% and forced 22 turnovers. I mean, you did a lot well.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could say the same for them. They held us to 33% and 20%. I think some of it was just maybe a function of they were a little fatigued on the offensive end. I do think, we focused on doing the right things and trying to make it difficult for them to score. But, I think on our end of the floor, their defense and, us being in our first game and, being not a particularly consistent offensive scoring team, I think that was reflected in the stats at the end.
And just talk about Candy's ability when she gets the ball sort of near the basket. It seems like she's not only stronger than almost anybody, but she's got a lot of moves too.
Yeah, she kind of wills her way to the rim and wills the ball in there. I mean, sometimes she just contorts herself in so many ways and steps through, and those are things that she came to us with. I mean, she's very naturally kind of developed into a pretty gifted player when she gets herself down there, able to be, she's strong and she's graceful and she's on balance and she's able to, score very effectively when she gets herself in that position close to the rim.
Hey, Coach. Brendan Potts, World Sports Report. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
22 turnovers, 13 steals. You talked about your lack of consistency offensively. So was this defense more, or the emphasis of defense more of a game plan heading in, or more of a game flow?
Good question. I think we always talk about being able to defend. That's something we have a lot more control over usually than whether or not the ball goes in the basket. So we always try to prepare our teams as well as we can to play solid team defense. But I do think as the game went on, especially after that first quarter and that first half, then we really doubled down on we need to play defense. We need to keep them off the offensive boards. We need to force some turnovers in order for us to create some offense for ourselves. So I think it was probably both of those things. And then, as the game wore on, an even greater emphasis on, making sure we got stops or at least got really good defensive possessions.
And staying on that theme of defense, Corgo had 4 steals. Can you kind of talk about her effort on that side of the floor?
Yeah, I thought, the Rhodes did a really good job yesterday. And last couple of games, she's been, a really good offensive player. So we were really a little bit worried about that matchup with Ina on 20, just because, Rhodes has a little bit of size on her and had been shooting the ball well. But I thought Ina did a nice job, on her and on 24 of understanding what their strengths were and then trying to take those things away. And then she had some active hands. I thought Mara had some active hands and, were able to poke the ball away a couple times, but play pretty solid defense.